Hello, ladies and gentlemen. KG season! Back with another video. And today, this video is going to be a little bit different because we're actually breaking down into the realms of contracts. Like I said earlier on my channel, we're going to be not only just doing reaction videos, but we're actually going to be breaking down contracts of athletes, sports players. So, who we have here is the man, the myth, the legend. Jackson Smith-Njigba, and today we're going to be reviewing his new contract extension that he just signed for. He signed for a 4-year, $168.4 million extension with the Seattle Seahawks, right? And the reason why it's such a big deal is because it changes how the NFL is. This actually is a move that changes not only the Seahawks, but how the NFL is, because this puts Jackson Smith-Njigba, also known as JSN, as the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. And when we dive into this, you guys are always on surface level. Yeah, he makes 4 years, $168.4 million. That's a lot of money, right? Yes, it is. But this is how he gets paid. We're going to be basically showing you guys how he gets paid per year, what the Seahawks are doing, because you guys just think, oh, it might be all linear. He might just keep getting the same amount of money every single year. That is actually not true. JSN is going to get paid in a small environment. So what we have right now is actually he's still on a 2-year contract. So he still has 2 years of $29.8 million left on his contract. Actually, that still has to finish out. So the whole contract extension is actually going to be 6 years, $195.1 million, right? So he is locked in until 2031. That is the next time he will become a free agent, is 2032 season. But actually, this is how they're going to be paying him right now. So, yes, with the contract extension, it's going to be 6 years, $195.1 million. $120 million of that throughout the whole 6 years is guaranteed. So, no matter what, if he leaves, if he gets traded, he is still on the contract. By them, it's getting paid $120 million, right? Into 2031 season, right? And the thing is, right? Like, how will, this be affecting him? We will break that down later. We'll definitely be breaking down how that's affecting him. Obviously, who wouldn't want it to get paid that much money? Who wouldn't want to get paid $195 million? Like, I know I would. It'd be my payday, going straight to the bank, getting my checks. But actually, the way this is broken down is that, yes, I'm using this website right here called Spot Track. Shout out to Spot Track. They have all the contracts broken down for, athletes and everything like that. So shout out to Spot Track. We're going to be using them, for evidence today. But if you look at it, so this is how much he's actually really getting, right? 2026, he's getting $10.3 million, right? So you guys wouldn't think, oh, like, I thought he was getting paid more than that, because if you look at my trusty calculator right here on my phone, if you really look at it, this is on a whole, yearly rate, right? So if you look up 105 million, right? 105, let's just do 105 million divided by, the 6 years that he's going to be playing, right? That's around 32.5 million, right? But the contract is actually split up a little bit different, right? So this year he's making around 10.3. Then in the 2027 season, he's going to be making around $15.6 million. 2028, he will be making $32.9 million. 2029, $36.5 million. 2030 is where it jumps up a significant amount. $48.8 million. 2031, $50.3 million. And he also gets the bonuses from the signing bonuses too. Don't you mention that. That also gets put into play, which is why he's making $195 million as well. And then another thing is that he's actually going to get a void year, right? So a void year is, if he will be a free agent or if they can add more void years. Because this is what teams can do. NFL teams can add up to 5 years of void, right? So they can basically add that. And what that will do is, instead of having a franchise tag, which, like, a franchise tag is setting a minimum, it's the minimum wage that a player can get, like the minimum salary that he can get for only 1 year. So it's only going to be 1 year. Whereas the void year can be up to 5 years, right? And with the franchise tag, the way he's playing right now is Jackson Smith-Njigba, although in the Super Bowl he didn't have, a crazy amount of yards or anything like that. He didn't have a touchdown. He only had 4 receptions. This man is still going to make the team impactful. He's still going to make it greater. Even now he's going to take on a bigger role since Kenneth Walker left. He went to Chiefs and all that stuff, and Kenneth Walker was a Super Bowl MVP finals. He was a final MVP for the Super Bowl, so for the Seahawks Super Bowl champion, right? So obviously, that takes away a main player, right, and how everything comes out. So JSN, this is their franchise player for the next 5 years, 6 years. They gotta invest big into him, man. And with that, as well as the void year, this is also what the void year can do too. Um, the franchise tag is really like this is an insult for him if he gets the franchise tag during his last year, 2032. But the void year will be, if you $2.5 million, you'll take that. And if he wants to move to another team, he can move to another team without penalty, right? And if he wants to stay with the Seahawks, then they can work another contract again to work him. But basically, what the void year does is basically dead money, and it basically helps the team with cap space. That's what they want because right now the Seahawks this year actually do have pretty tremendous good cap space for especially what they just paid for JSN. They do have about $32.3 million in cap space left this year, and so they will still be able to make moves and things like that. And I don't know, I'm not too sure about if that's $32.3 million is you know being acquired to JSN. If they still have all of their cap space to that. Otherwise, they will go deep into luxury tax, and the Seahawks will not have any money to spend. Next year they will also have enough cap space as well. But the years after that, the Seahawks are really going to be in a pickle, man. They're really going to not be able to, you know, fund any other players because JSN's taking all the money. You know what I mean? JSN is making a bag. JSN took the bag and he's carrying it home with him wherever he goes. If he stays in Seattle, if he doesn't stay in Seattle, doesn't matter. The money is his. At least $120 million worth of that, guaranteed. And you really have to say if you're the Seahawks, what would you want to do in long term? Of course, all teams, their goal is to win a championship, which they have done this past season, 2025, 2026 season. They have won a Super Bowl championship, a ring. So that is already done. But what do you want the long term? I feel like teams should always stick towards the long term. But the NFL and all these other sports are businesses at the end of the day. So it would honestly makes sense to go short term because, you know, all you think about is the next day now. You think about all the money moves that are now because what we really don't see as fans is what the team does internally, which is really what I'm trying to get with this channel right now. I really want to understand how, teams use money to, make available to players and, even with trades and things like that because there's always transfer fees. I'm not sure about the NFL. I don't think there's any like transfer fees. It's not like soccer, where there's major huge transfer fees where the agents get all the transfer fee money if their, player athlete scores big on a contract, right? So that's not how I think it would work in the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Comment down below what you guys think about this video and what I said was, true. And also, we have to look at it from a Seattle perspective too, because you know that means what's going to happen to Sam Darnold, the QB, right? The main QB, he's done really good this season for the Seattle Seahawks, and the last season was with the Vikings, and he did really well too. They were 14-2, man, literally 14-3, 14-2, and they came off of that. Even though they lost last year in the playoffs, like he still had a great season, and he came into Seattle, took everything, and he won a championship with that. He won a championship with that, and the head coach Mike McDonald, bro. This is what we need to see, bro. But honestly, every single day is just what do you take from here? You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Uh, JSN's getting the bag. Seattle, I don't know how they're gonna do with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold in the upcoming years might have to go if this doesn't get right because Sam Darnold is gonna get paid too. Sam Darnold, give me my money. That's what he's thinking in his head right now. He wants the bag. He wants the max contract because of course, like if I'm a QB carrying my team to the Super Bowl and really helping them at least win a Super Bowl, I would want that back too. So, anyways, that's the video for today. Really short, really just getting in there deep, of course, understanding about contracts and how money works in the NFL, for example, for today. And we're going to be working and really dissecting on how contracts, and lots of other things work in not just the NFL, but the NBA, MLB, and lots of other sports I will be figuring out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys would want to see in any more videos. I'm going to be uploading a bunch more reaction videos coming up today. We got an MLB one. We also have a March Madness one. And we have some NBA videos that I will be reacting to later on that will be out on YouTube in a short bit. Without further ado, KJ Season, aka Keep It Real Caden, aka Caden Jarrett. I hope you guys have a good one. KJ Season, Caden Jarrett. I'm out. Peace.